Hey, what's good, everybody? We're going to be doing this a little bit early. So, for those you some early birds walking up in here, welcome along. Welcome along. Thank you for showing up for an episode of Opinionated with Resla. Uh, I wasn't gonna do a live stream. I was actually going to post a video, something I've been trying to put together for some time. Been really slow dragging it, and I couldn't because I got a notification looking at my emails, just looking at the news stuff, and then I saw what was going on when it came to these migrants who turned around and then they pretty much ran up on City Hall, pretty much making demands about a whole bunch of different stuff. So I wanted to have a little bit of a conversation about it. After I turned around, I didn't want to read the article. I was just going to focus on my thing. But then I kept getting the notification. So I just said, you know what, let me just turn around and look at this. And of course, like I knew it was going to, which I should have just stuck with my original thing. I should have just ignored it. But when I saw that, I said, I have to talk about it. Because if I don't talk about it, especially me as being someone who's a New Yorker here, about something that's really aggravating to me, I didn't think it was going to be fair. But before I even get into that, I want to acknowledge anyone who has already shown up so far, being that we are officially hitting the time. So who is in here? Hey, mama. Look, first one in here. First one in here. Or at least the first one speaking in the chat. So thank you for showing up. With this particular discussion, I am all over the board. As I'm still trying to figure out a lot of stuff is going on. I'm actually still picking out a couple of things that I've been reading, and I want to make sure that I get it down pat. So what exactly is going on and what exactly is being asked for? You know, because anyone who knows my particular stance on things, it's not like I'm just saying that I'm totally up against immigrants and like that. This is not that kind of a conversation. But we, especially, well, let me just say it for the news. The news has a way of just totally taking the entire issue off of current Americans in general. And then what they do is that they just want to focus on all the migrants, all the migrants, all the migrants in the East, the migrants in the Midwest, the migrants in the freaking in the West. But they don't talk about the actual people who are already there, who already have to deal with these things. I'm not talking about your senators and your councilmen. I'm talking about everyday Americans. And this is pretty much a conversation that I want to get on a lot of people's perspectives. So the first thing I already did today, guys, if you haven't already noticed it, is that I've already pinned the link to the top of the chat because I really do want people's perspectives on this. So if you're inclined, no one's asking you to, but if you're inclined, you can feel free to give your thesis on what everything's going on. And as I'm looking at everything that's going on when it comes to the migrant crisis, when it comes to the drugs and things that are going on, when we think of the people who get locked up, who we find are like part of like cartels, when we talk about now all the things that happen on one side of the immigration side, which was mainly the Hispanic, the Latin side, I should say, now we get to hear about the other side, the African side. And some of the stuff that they're mentioning is just rather ludicrous, in my opinion. So let's get into a little bit of talking about that. Hey, OG, thanks for stopping by. Oxmith, what's going on, man? Thanks for you guys stopping by. So, first thing is when I started taking a look at this, I said, what exactly are the migrants asking for? I could just guess in my head that they want to talk about maybe permanent housing, which is already a touchy subject for me. Anyone who knows how I am, I'm very big when it comes to having housing in general. In general, I honestly, in my view, if I had to look at it this way, if I had to look at it in this way, I would prefer food costing more, food costing more, and housing costing less than the other way around, where we have an astronomical amount of prices that we pay out for freaking housing just to keep a roof over your head, and yet and still we still have high food prices. Like I can walk into a place, a gourmet place or whatever, if you want to call it gourmet, because a lot of these places are not, and spend $20 on a burger. Might be a good burger, might be it might be just somewhere that's far because it's Uber Eats or Grubhub or DoorDash or whatever the hell it is. But $20 is still a lot for patty, cheese, maybe condiments, and a bun. $20? It's awfully a lot. And when you already think about what the price is just of food itself here in New York, and then you have to also consider what it takes to just live in New York. It's ridiculous the amount of money that people are spending to be able to hold a roof over their head, especially when we start talking about the quality of the place that you're living in. If this was all luxury high-rise apartment, if this was like how people try to look at Dubai is like, it's all looking like high-rise luxury, good glass, everybody's got sunlight coming into them and everything. Everybody's living in these big high rises. That'd be one thing. But it's not like that whatsoever. And to think that it's so bad that commercial property is already being looked at as housing spaces, but not housing spaces because we just don't have places to live. They're considered being housing spaces because they don't want to renovate the other places, right? And I've talked about this in one of my other videos about homelessness. But now we have the migrants that are in that have the audacity to march their behind the city hall. Keep in mind, how long have the migrants been here? It's been a few months. They knew exactly where to assemble. They knew exactly how to assemble. They already had representation to that degree. And of course, who are the type of mofos do you think that I see are the ones representing these migrants? Hmm? You might want to take a guess. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do a quick little share. These are your people. Look at them. Is there any face within the crowds here? Oh, this one's staring dead at the camera. Is there any face in the crowd here that look like they're migrants? Now, some might say, look at the people in the back over here. Maybe they're dusty. I don't know if they're migrants just yet. It could be. Maybe this dude is he could definitely be looked at as a migrant. But it's like, come on now. What are we doing here? Again, if this was a country or even a state that was very prosperous and we could be able to do things to help everybody, I'm not against that. The issue that we keep going up against is this idea of people calling on the city to provide equity. I am really beginning to detest anything that's even come close to the word equity. Equity, equality, equitable. I cannot stand it because you look at any law, any bill passed across any state within this nation, there has never been a time where anyone has ever been treated as equal. There's no bill that's ever been for everyone. There's none. There's none. Even our good old Bill of Rights didn't see everybody the same way. So that means we have to make other laws in the books to try to compensate. And the idea that most of the mofos who I saw on that particular picture are people who are, let's be honest, raking off of the government funds. They're not really popping, or these are not even rich people themselves, but they want to believe that they're doing something very important because they have the words activists. They said, you know what? I'm important because I wear a button with a smug smile on their face because they want to believe that they're moral. And they don't even know what they're asking for. They say, what can we do for the immigrants? And again, it's a decent question. But I say, what about the people who are already here? What about the people who already paid into the system? Hmm? What about them? What about the people who are already here, who are already homeless, who have families? American made families who are struggling, those who are working. Hmm? Only if you can work in my kitchen. If you can work in my kitchen and you can wear an apron, we're fine. I can't say you have anything under the apron, but you got to wear an apron. And you got to have lots of flour, lots and lots of flour. Just saying. I want biscuits all the time. Every day, I want biscuits. Yes, you're right. The working poor. It's one thing when we say the working poor are living into bad housing conditions. Oh, I got rats, rodents, whatever the case may be. But they don't even have that. Those are the people who are just lucky enough to finesse the system. There are people who are literally making a decent income. I'm talking about at least two family putting together, making maybe 60, maybe 70 together. And that's in the low end, the poor end. And they're still considered homeless because they cannot pay for the rent. It's crazy. No. Well, okay. So here's the thing about migrants in general. We all know this. Just because you immigrated from somewhere else, and keep in mind they didn't do it the right way. We're gonna acknowledge that. It doesn't mean you don't have particular skills that can be useful in a particular market, right? But are we gonna say that all of these mofos who come up through here, they all have value? They all should be getting working papers? But you know what? Let's just talk about the things that they actually want. I started writing some of this stuff down. So all of the things that these freaking people are freaking asking for, the things they are protesting over, and they're making a very big distinction because black people all gotta try to lift each other up all at once. Lift every voice and sing. Like, why? So they gotta lift everybody up. Everybody who has dark skin. Everybody. Because I didn't see any Latin faces in the crowd. It was all Negroes. All. A park full of Negroes. We're going to get into it. And I'm going to call out the audacity. First and foremost, they said they want more efficient and streamlined processes to enable them to join the workforce and contribute economically. I'm okay with this. This is the bare bones I am okay with. You came here, you want to be a productive person, you want to spend tax money, you want to know what it's like to get your pockets raped, like how we get it. I'm absolutely okay with that. If you think that you're going to be on a scooter or whatever the hell maybe you actually do have trade skills. Maybe you do. I'm fine with that. But if you want to invest into the very city or cities, but I'm talking about New York in general, or in particular, but if you want to invest and have your pockets taken, just like we do, I'm fine with that. That's the very small thing that I'm okay with. But the next thing they say, we need you to address the anti-blackness. That did not come from these Africans. That didn't come from these Africans. That came from the blackity blacks. Let's just keep it a buck. It came from the blackity black, most likely liberals, that was sitting there talking about, don't you know that you're disenfranchised? Don't you know that by you coming here from Africa, you're dealing with systemic racism? They said we need you to address the anti-blackness that's within the city systems. So they're being used. They're just being peddled by the blackity blacks, by the systems and care of the services for new arrivals, and ensuring equitable, yeah, that fucking terrific, equitable access to city resources and support. If you want to give them working papers, temporary visas, and shit like that, cool. Pay your dues, and if you're lucky, if you were able to actually build yourself up with working papers quickly enough to get housing and be able to have a company that's willing to finance you, absolutely. I have no problem with that. But now they are arguing as if they're already American. Like they have a God given right to get these things. First of all, you came here, right? They came here, right? You came here and you think about the things that you were given. You came here with nothing. Then you were given a ride to one of the best cities on the planet. On the planet, on the globe. One of the most talked about cities on the globe. You were taken there for free. You didn't have to trek from the border and walk your ass all the way through the east like fucking Kane the Kung Fu Master, and your bare fucking feet. You didn't have to do that. You were given a bus and even a plane. Do you know how many people live in this country that has never been on a plane? Do you know how many people in this country have never traveled throughout their own country? And you, by getting here at a border for free, either got a bus ride, trekking through states, seeing more than what some Americans have never seen here, or taking a class ticket paid for free to land in one of the most prominent cities on the globe for free. Now, I just stressed that point. Then you were given housing for free. For free. You were given food. You were given benefits for free. You walked past people on a constant basis while you looked for work, right? Of people who did not get anything for free and had to work their ass off to get there. Anti-blackness? Where's your gratitude? See, back in the days where when I was homeless and people came here, they were gracious. Being in a shelter system, they were still gracious to be here because they knew they had an opportunity. These mofos? Let's go into the list of the things they want. They said they want improved living conditions to have access to permanent housing solutions rather than temporary shelters. That's one of their demands, by the way. They want within New York City to have improved living conditions and access to permanent housing because they are so sick and tired of living in the shelter system. Do you know that there are people who are living, they've only been here a couple, if not a few months. Do you know there's people who've been living in the shelter system for years? Once you get a permanent shelter, that is your permanent housing. But that's not what they're asking for. There have been people who've been in shelter systems for like 2 to 3 years. There are dudes who don't even get be able to get out into an actual apartment for at least over 10 months in a shelter. And you want permanent housing solutions. Folks, did I not mention that we have a gross amount of people who are already homeless and they have families? Now we talk about dudes who walked in here, let's be honest, not even sporting our colors. They're sporting African colors. And they're not asking, they're pretty much demanding that they get better living conditions. Excuse me, Negro with the ashy feet over there. Yeah, I said what I said. How dare you talk about better and improved living conditions? You came here through the southern border, which means you had to cross into someone else's country and still walk your ashy ass up here. Any condition that you have right now for all the things that you were given for free is a better living condition that you already had back in your homeland. Huh? What? Yeah. You came here. You got sponsored. You got people who are here, by the way, milking your oppression, right? For you to get here, get everything pretty much handed to you early for free, haven't paid no rent, haven't paid no utilities, haven't had to scrounge for money. Because here's the truth of the matter. If we did not give you subsidies for you getting food, let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. I'm gonna do this, this is something you won't really see me do. You won't really hear me say this. If we didn't give you shit, New York City might not have so much of a rat problem. Those rats would have suddenly been disappearing. Am I wrong for saying that? You'd be surprised how quickly a rat might look enticing when you ain't got no food. And to some of these dudes that already been saying they out there used to scrounging for stuff, who knows? But all of a sudden, you too good for shit. Keep in mind, I just addressed 3 different things that they asked for. They want a streamlined method for getting employment. Keep in mind that employment is hitting everybody across the country. What the fuck are you gonna do? The most I would say is to give you someone who can ask you what your skills are. That's the most I would say. Someone who can come to you and then say, Mr. I can't, I'm just gonna call you John because I don't even know how to say that. What skills did you have back in Africa? Okay, cool. Is there anyone that we can call for an embassy or whatever who can corroborate that you have these skills? Because if I get you to a job and you fail the test, we don't really want to just be wasting time. We don't want to spend the time having to train you because you said you already had these skills, right? So, Mr. Smith, right? Cool. Yep. And go from there. But the demand, then the second thing was your anti-blackness. Anti-black in one of the most liberal cities on the globe. Anti-black. Do you not know that most cities that you go to are going to mostly have a lot of black people in it? It's in the country you have to scrounge to find black people. Cities, you can find them, no problem. And again, you still took your behinds here at New York. You didn't, because guess what New York is not called? The Black Mecca. Anybody want to tell me what state is called the Black Mecca? What area is called the Black Mecca? Because it ain't New York, it ain't California, and it damn for sure ain't Chicago. What area do we know that's called the Black Mecca? And they pissed me off over there, but whatever. And we know where it is because LA talk about it all the goddamn time. Oh, nope, mama, nope, you missed it. Yep, Yvette got it. Atlanta, Georgia. It is called the Black Mecca. Why didn't you take your ass there? Hmm? Eh? So we have, you want to work and you want it to be streamlined because you think you have skills. Then you say you got anti-blackness, huh? Then you say you need to be given, you think it's your right. You're a foreigner. You don't have a visa. You're illegal, but you think you deserve in a city that has a problem with affordable housing, you deserve to have a permanent housing solution. And let's get into the last one, because there's 4 things they asked for. They want the ability to secure employment through the insurance of work permits. They want to be guaranteed work permits because they don't think that they have enough working conditions. They think that they're currently lacking the necessary documentation for legal work. You're an illegal. What legal work? You are an illegal. You did not come here the proper way. You want necessary documentation for legal work when you came here illegally. Make that make sense. But you know what? You know what? I can show you better than I can tell you. Here was the video that I originally saw today that came up in my feed. Let's look at this shit.
Today, hundreds of migrants from African countries are rallying down at City Hall. They're calling for better quality of life, saying they want to be put to work, but it's been difficult to cut through all the red tape. CBS News' John Diaz joins us live from City Hall with more on this. John?
Yo, Chris, good afternoon to you. And now this group started to form about at 9:30 this morning. They all came down here to the park right behind City Hall. And as you can see right here behind me, hundreds came out here as we pan and we'll show.
By the way, I like this park. I like this park. All righty, man. We'll see you around. Thanks for stopping by. I like this park. I can't imagine going to a park, because anyone who knows where City Hall is, it's in the financial district. Later, love. It's in the financial district, which means it's only surrounded by people who make money and who work. If you manage to live in the financial district, your place looks fucking beautiful. Because you're surrounded, first of all, everything around you is expensive. Good luck to having a nightlife, because it's just all business out there. But if you live out there, you're paying a good premium for stuff. I'm just telling you that. And the magic that they were able to mess up that entire park. You know, when they left that park looked like trash. Just gonna say it.
Show you all the people out here, and some of them already left, but all of them out here protesting the city and how they say it's handling migrants coming from countries like Haiti, Guinea, Senegal, and others. Now, they plan this rally today because New York City Council committees on immigration.
Wait, they planned that rally. You just saw a string of Negroes sitting on the goddamn bars. They look like they planned that rally? In fact, look at the pausing. Does this person look like he's a foreigner? What about this person? What about this person? This person? But which one of them look like they came from the motherland? Which one? Any person in this crowd look like they're a foreigner? Anyone? Not too sure about that.
Immigration and hospitals are hosting an oversight hearing. They wanted to hear about the experiences new migrants from African countries are having in the city, looking to understand things like how the administration is addressing language access barriers, health needs, and other roadblocks that growing number of newcomers.
Here's how you solve the language barrier. You learn English, not the other way around. It's probably worse than that at LA. It probably was way worse than that. Listen, when I used to work in the financial district, I used to like being in that park. Especially in the wintertime, you get that big, because it's like, because the park is not far off from the water from Battery Park. So you would still get the big gush of cool air that hit you, and it will wake you up, but it will feel so nice too. And I can't imagine now having to freaking get the smell of that wind. Because keep in mind, it's been hot out. This happened yesterday. Yesterday was 70 degrees out. You know, if there was any wind blowing, it was terrible. Because these guys are still learning how to just do things the American way, right? That means hygiene as well. Yes, I said what I said. If you feel away, that's your problem, not mine. Let's continue.
Say that they're dealing with. Many of them saying that two of the biggest issues are housing, how they only get temporary shelters, they then get kicked out and have no place to go. And they also say they're unable to work since they don't have working permits, asking the city to streamline the process so they can get to work.
Find solution for all.
He's sporting African colors, talking about finding solutions. First of all, you were out there yesterday. You got on a tracksuit and a blazer, and it was 70 yesterday. Sir, I know. This is easy weather compared to you being out in Kenya, right? Jesus Christ.
African community.
I was sweating like a
They are
dog.
young guys. Look at them. They are 19 years, 20 years old. So they are ready to work. But we need to get better condition for these guys.
I'm very upset about it because I was not thinking it would be like this because lack of shelter, a lack of many things, let me say, lack of job.
And a live look back out here at the park, as you just heard them talk. You know, these are a lot of 19-year-olds to 20-year-olds to teenagers, but also there's some women too, families
sure
with
did.
young children out here. They all are saying that this is, you know, not what they were expecting to be dealing with. But coming up later on today, you'll hear from some city council members, including Republican Vicky Palladino. She's fired up about this, saying that the city should rather be focusing its attention and its money on citizens. The full
Somebody got the message. Somebody understood. Because somehow all these guys back there, they got freaking phones in their hands. They all look like they looking for work. They look like they looking for work. I don't think so. But they all at this rally, right? Keep in mind, the very building that they need to get to is blocks away. It ain't in the park. It's blocks away. Come on now.
report coming up later on today. But for now, we are live this afternoon from City Hall. John D.
Annoys the living hell out of me. And it's all, he might be lying about it. Honestly, I refuse to go down into the city now. Because the two times that I did so, I got annoyed. Because it's very rare that I ever put myself, especially in the area of Times Square. But there was one time I had to go down there because I was going for a job interview for a corporate position. And after the job interview, I came out and I was just like, hey, I haven't been down here for a while. I'm walking. I got my camera with me. I'm doing whatever. And that's when I noticed all these damn migrants are like, they going through shit. When I saw the woman took up her kid and put the whole 6-pack down and then threw her baby on top of the 6-pack to try to hide it so they could steal it, I was just like, oh. And then you see they hanging out on the corner. Wait. If anyone's ever seen like New York City, like Manhattan street blocks, like you don't be hanging out in the corner. These city blocks are not for loitering. Like stand, wait for the light to change, get the fuck moving. You can't be sitting still. And they just standing there drinking like a Corona or Modelo or whatever. Like, what are we doing? And then I see like they argue with each other. They argue with other people. Worse, because like now they're just as bad as you can say the people that are here who target tourists. They also know who tourists are, and in my mind, you're a goddamn tourist. But they know who the tourists are, and they're coming for the tourists. They hitting the tourist. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So no one is safe. And let's be honest, those who want to steal, who are here in the city, the city residents who like to steal, the people who are crazy in the head and all that, you know what they're not doing? hitting up migrants. They don't think migrants have anything. So now it's the battle of the thieves. Well, here's the best part about this one, LA. They don't gotta go back there. They don't have to go back. New York is literally offering you a ticket to anywhere in the world you want to go. If it's not working out for you here, you can go back home. If you don't think so, you can go to anywhere in the world. Free ticket. We'll send you there. If you say it's not working out here, I'd rather go to Japan, we will send you there free of charge, like everything else that's been free. It's already offered. But you know what they say? No, I want to be in New York. I want to be in New York. Why? Why? Why do you, this is not what you thought? I don't know what you thought it was. I don't know what your movies are like in Africa that you thought it was going to be popping here. I don't know what you thought it was going to be like. You can go anywhere. In fact, most Africans don't come to the US right off the bat. They go to the UK. I hear all the Nigerians is over there. Why was this your first stop? Why did you go the opposite way? You just said, you know what? I'm going to follow the sun and that's it. Hmm? You could have gone to the UK. Most people from Africa go to the UK, and then after being in the UK, they go over to the US. That's not what these guys did. I don't know what kind of movies that they're being sold. I don't know what kind of movies they're being sold about New York, New York. Because when I have been outside of New York, when I talk to people who have been outside the country, they tell me that everything about New York is not always great. Because let's be honest, what does most of our movies and shit look like? Hmm? Unless you're looking at a documentary, something in stocks or shit like that, most people don't look at New York as being a great place. Unless you're looking at a fucking rom-com. I get tired of seeing stereotypes because of cities in general. Did I ever tell you how it looks for people who are for people in different countries, for how just black people look in general across the world? I'm not even gonna talk about China. China is just straight up disrespectful. But the other places are no better. I hate to tell you this. You see the Bronx, but that's almost any borough. It's almost any borough outside of, say, maybe Long Island, because Long Island is the most big suburb area that you'll run across. So I won't even tell you just one borough, because most people want to hoard their asses up in Manhattan. Most people are not going to the Bronx. They're not. Most tourists, when they come to New York, they do not acknowledge that the Bronx even exists. I want to go to Yankee Stadium. Oh, you want to go to the Bronx? They're like, what's the Bronx? Yankee Stadium's in the Bronx? But that's the Yankees. And I go, they're called the Bronx Bombers. It's in the fucking Bronx. Most tourists don't even know that. All they know is Manhattan, which everybody calls New York. If you call, literally, it won't matter if you're on a resume. It won't matter if you put these two things down. If you want to put that you worked in a particular area on the island, you can put you worked in Manhattan, New York, or New York, New York. They will count it. Manhattan is not called New York, but so many tourists see it as New York. That's why I got labeled that. Manhattan is Manhattan. Queens is Queens. Bronx is Bronx. Brooklyn is Brooklyn. Staten Island is Staten Island. Long Island is Long Island. Plain and simple. There is no New York, New York. In reality. I know people sung the song New York, New York, and it stuck. But it's called Manhattan. It's not called New York. No one hears about Brooklyn and says, that's not New York. Sir, you are a liar. You're a liar. We saw them stray coyotes out there. You're a liar. Like, and keep in mind, it's not like I even big up. It's not even like I'm bigging up New York because I've been to other states and they've been trash as well. I've seen trash states that I've crossed across many states in this place, and I've seen like, oh my gosh, this is what Utah looks like. I've been to. Trust me, Los Angeles ain't looking that great. Not at all. I was like, whew, damn. Chicago, not looking great. You can just say that about the city limits itself, but I've also seen suburbs. I'm just like, I don't see nothing special out here. I felt that way when leaving freaking in North Carolina or something. I was like, I can't wait to get it fucking away from seeing the Piggly Wiggly. I don't give a fuck about what's going on out here. There are plenty of dumps everywhere. Everywhere. But the fact of the matter is that we have the wrong people propping up the wrong people. It drives me nuts. To me, when I see people, this I will agree with you on. And I won't even say liberal hellhole, but just the liberals themselves are hellholes. Because honestly, you'll see a lot of places in New York that people do not behave that way. But these motherfuckers, they need to go. They need to go. They need to go. They need to go. Because the idea you think that someone else is doing something for you, and then you sitting there fucking it up for everybody else, it makes me mad. It really infuriates me. What are you doing? They live so much on a moral high ground, but yet go home to their shitty ass apartment. Because I know you got shitty ass apartments. I know you got shitty ass apartments, just like plenty of us in New York got shitty ass apartments. You're not living in no fucking high rise, but you think you're something special because you got a badge on your fucking shoulder or on your fucking chest that says activist. You're no one special. I know you're just sitting around hoping to get on the scam, hoping to be the next Patrice Cullors. I'm just going to tell you how I see it. You're just waiting for your next opportunity. You look at activism as being a fucking lottery. You're looking for your viral moment to get rich. You don't believe in the things that you really believe in. I see you motherfuckers. Dead ass. And you annoy the living hell out of me. I could say so much worse things about it, but you know what? I'm not gonna bother. Not because I'm a Christian, because I don't think you're worth it.
Hundreds of Black migrants, many from African countries, showed up at City Hall demanding better treatment. They say they just want a job and basic shelter.
And Chopper 2 was overhead this afternoon, showing the large group outside City Hall just how many people this issue is impacting. The steps of City Hall also packed. CBS 2's John Diaz reports now on the changes that they're calling for.
The steps of City Hall ain't that big.
Every migrant we spoke with has something in common. They want to work. Right now, they're trying to cut through all the red tape that stops.
Fuckers, we all want to work. There's so many people out there trying to get work. It ain't just you. You know why you don't have legal papers? Because you're not legal. The fuck?
Stopping them, asking local leaders to put pressure on Washington, D.C. to make a change. As dozens rallied on the steps outside City Hall.
Immigrant justice. You know what? All these people that want to do so much for immigrants, and I challenge them to become an immigrant themselves. All you liberal ass motherfuckers that want to sit there and talk about all this justice for immigrants. I challenge you. I give you a personal dare to try to know what it's like to be an immigrant yourself. To be an illegal immigrant yourself. Go to someone else's country illegally and tell me how you feel about it. I'm not trying to hear nothing else from you. Plain and simple. Oh,
and
you
hundreds
annoy
showed
me.
up in support nearby inside the council chambers. Tears were shed for all Black migrants impacted by what advocates are calling unfair treatment.
They are here to show you that they belong and that they are here and that they should not be erased. Please listen to them.
Tuesday.
Erased? Erased. This heifer is talking about migrants getting erased. They're not the ones who decide to show up on City Hall. In fact, I'm pretty sure they had to be given directions to make it to City Hall. And this heifer over here is talking about them being erased. Someone who doesn't look like they even freaking missed a meal in their life. What are we talking about here? What are we doing?
City Council members held its first hearing to learn more about the experiences Black migrants have been going through in New York.
No, Zimmer, they're not on drugs. She's on Cinnabons. Too many Cinnabons. Nope, not at all.
Migrants have reported verbal and physical abuse due to the color of their skin.
Federal immigration laws are either slowing down the process for these migrants to get working permits, or depending on what country they come from, it makes them ineligible.
But when they give our work permits, we can work.
How? Where can you work? Where can you work? You can't work at McDonald's. McDonald's is even turning away actual citizens. You think you're going to be able to work there? They're replacing them for machines. Where are you going to work? Come on now.
And take care of ourselves.
Governor Kathy Hochul has tried to speed along the process. These migrants are also up in arms over language.
That bitch is on my hit list. Ooh, I'm so mad at her. If I see her, I punch her in the face. I just want to rag about her head one time.
Language access barriers and temporary shelters, saying 30 days isn't long enough. This mother and her 2 kids have been staying at the Humanitarian Relief Center at Floyd Bennett.
She didn't even look like a migrant. She was fucking she was like from Bed-Stuy.
Field, but she says the city should be providing more assistance.
What I expect to...
Oh, never mind. She got the accent going in there.
American people, I did not see that.
The relief center continues to be a point of contention for Republican council member Vicky Palladino, who says the city is already giving the migrants too much.
This is absolute insanity at its finest.
Hey, LA, this is the first time I'm supporting a Karen. First time I agree with her. Absolutely, Miss Karen. Absolutely.
Most migrants we saw out here today were young men, but also we saw some families, including children and even some infants. From City Hall, John Diaz, CBS 2 News.
Absolutely disgusting. I don't want to hear that bullshit either. Her fried out ass hair. You could take that porcelain queen if you want to. I'm tired of this. I really, really am. I really am. And this is the reason why I even had to ask the question earlier. Like, do we think that New York can recover? And I pretty much already knew the answer before we already get into it. So looking at the poll, look at that. 66% say no. And 33% says yes. I don't know just how well we can actually recover because we can't get our shit together. I do not understand the state of, never mind the nation, but just how we move as New Yorkers. Like, we're determined to just say, fuck it all. And I'm a little upset because people are not just leaving the city. They're leaving the state as a whole. Even upstate New York, people are leaving. And I'm just like, Fine. Now you have the people who are stuck in the middle, who can't afford to move, who are looking for opportunities. And then the only people who are not looking to leave are the wealthy. They're the only ones who are not concerned with leaving. Businesses are leaving. Businesses are shutting down because they can't stay in business. And then you have these mofos coming here talking about they want permanent housing and a place to work. I'm tired of them. I really am. This is not what I had in mind at all. Like, I didn't even want them here. I know we had a sanctuary city. Like, I'm one of the people that say I don't even mind if New York turned into a police state, because as long as they enforce the small shit, it's whatever. Like, but it's just getting worse. It's to the point where all we now talk about, because in this entire thing, right, all they talked about was pushing migrants forward to get migrant shit. Migrants have 4 demands, and you know those 4 demands all came from those fucking blackity blacks that were up there, because literally the term anti-blackness has been there. These motherfuckers have only been here for a few months. In a shelter, you are allowed 30 days in the shelter, 60 if you have a family. And let's be honest, if you end up having to get kicked out of that shelter, you can simply just go to another shelter and re-enlist for a whole new 30 days. What are we talking about? And in the meantime, in between time, you were given all these other incentives and you couldn't make the most out of it. But yet, you guys are packing up freaking parks worse than pigeons. I got nothing to say to you guys. I have nothing to say to you guys at all. I'd rather go back to talking about New York City rats than talk about these damn migrants being here. I'll just be honest with you. Because they're not contributing, and even if they got working papers, they still wouldn't be able to contribute, because New York doesn't have the infrastructure for you mofos. They don't. They do not. Until New York is able to fix its affordability housing crisis, nothing else matters. If people cannot afford to live here, there is no work for you. I don't care if you say you want to work 16 hours. There's no work for you. Plain and simple. Think about that, and then think about your free freaking ticket that you could take anywhere else. And they didn't say anywhere in the state. They say anywhere in the world. They will pay for your ticket to go anywhere in the world. You have more people that's going to be able to speak closer to your language in the UK than you would here. And that's not me just saying that you should go to the UK. I'm saying that when you thought about picking up your freaking options, you gambled and you lost. Because here's the truth of the matter. For the New Yorkers that are stuck, that have their jobs and not trying to leave their jobs now, check this out, Tom. Check this out. You going to get all those migrants because they're not going to be able to survive here. And they're going to be the ones to leave. Especially because they got a free ticket. They're going to go to your suburbs. It ain't going to be the New Yorkers. Just saying. Then when you wonder why one day you in your car and you smell something that smells like freaking goat sandals, you know why. It's going to be a whole herd of them walking like the Walking Dead. All down Florida. You saw that, man. It was 70 degrees out there. He had a tracksuit on and a beige blazer. And he did not have a bead of sweat on him. But you know everything under was baking. Again, if the city was thriving and we were the only ones doing it well, and we could support everybody, because New York has space. We have the space. We have the buildings. A lot of them just have to be renovated. We have buildings now, but they're empty because people cannot afford them because of the freaking housing crisis. Plain and simple. It's not like New York just has so many bodies and there's just no place to live. That's not the way it works. That's not the way it works for New York. New York has the infrastructure, but can't put bodies in it. And it's mind-blowing. And there's still too many over of what we have because of migrants. So the question is, what do we do next? Because New York doesn't seem like it's in a position to recover. It's sad, but it's true. And that's the truth of the matter. We don't have the jobs anymore. We don't have the housing anymore. And it's a sad time. It's a sad time for New Yorkers. It's a sad time for the city of all the shit that you want to call it. Everything. And all these people, once everything really runs out, when it really tapers off, all you're going to get is a whole bunch of people that's going to be flocking over to outer boroughs, pretty much leaving the core of the city in shambles because they ate the inside of the core. Now they're moving out to the outer boroughs. And the outer boroughs is not really going to take that. They're not going to move out to Long Island because it's not profitable to be there. The one thing I worry about is all of the other things that we have a problem with because we are such a liberal state and because of all the other policies that got put into place because of our last mayor. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't a fan of our last mayor. Not at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. And because of all the liberal policies that we have literally in place, families are not even able to take care of themselves. They're not able to secure their own property. So I think about me in general. When I take this trip, I got to think about places that I'm going to drop some shit off to when I get back into the States. I got to pick that shit up because if I walk into my place, whatever, you guys might not be seeing me on a stream for a little while because I might be up for a murder charge if I find somebody up in my place. It's going to be a wrap. I will be filming from my county jail somewhere because it's too risky now. It's too risky everywhere you go. And as they lose resources, as they lose water from their drinking hole, they're gonna disperse. They'll disperse like all animals, like all roaches, to go find new areas to flock to go leech off of. And there's gonna be areas that's not gonna tolerate that, like areas of Brooklyn. There's gonna be areas of freaking the Bronx that are not gonna tolerate that. And the Bronx is already rough enough when it comes to people. There's gonna be areas of freaking Queens that are gonna be like that. I wish they would run up in there and try to be stupid and left Rack City. I wish they would be stupid enough and try to move up in the South Bronx like that. I wish they would be stupid. Like they probably get away with Harlem. Because Harlem is just, they don't be doing what they need to do. I wish dudes would try to walk up in Brownsville and try to do that shit. But it is what it is. And all we can do in the meantime, in between time, is just sit here, watch, and best protect ourselves. Watch what's happening in Manhattan and prepare. Prepare because we know that as much as they're trying to come out, they haven't fully started coming out yet. Because when they do come out in mass, we know they're coming out with desperation. And that means we need to start protecting ourselves. It won't be the Walking Dead, but it'll be protecting yourself from them. A lot of people will be starting to lose their lives. Because why? They think that somehow these cities are their saving graces. And I'm always laughing in my mind because I'm like, just look at all our movies. I don't think there's any movie of really a city besides like if you were looking at Sex in the City or such shit like that, where any city has been looked at with high accolades. It's always been, like someone said, cops and robbers earlier, drugs, shootouts. I don't think that's the kind of life that people are looking for. I'm pretty sure it beats having your freaking village hit by freaking rebels and raiders. Sure, but it's not a highlight from that as well. The only difference is like not getting lined up and shot or a machete to take your head off. But that's what I pretty much wanted to do and talk about this because it really pissed me off that I got up this morning and that was what I saw pretty much in my head. But hopefully you guys have your own take on it as well. I'm of course going to be keeping up with this stuff, unfortunately, because I need to prep for how things are moving. That's just the way how I'm going to be looking at my city. I really hate what's becoming of New York, but it's not a whole lot that can be done about it right now either, because people are looking for opportunities, and now they have to fight those who shouldn't have had the opportunity to be here from the jump. And that's pretty much what it is. Anyway, guys, that's gonna be my show. I will be dropping a video later this week. Well, either tomorrow or the day after it'll be coming out. I don't know if I'm gonna drop it today. I don't know. But that video is gonna come out. And then of course on Saturday I'll be doing a live stream as well. I'm gonna be prepping for a few things because I got a lot of stuff apparently I need to buy. And outside of that, you can feel free to see me when I'm going to be moving around in the spaces. Outside of that, you say that, and I got nothing to say whether it will be or whether it won't. Like I said, my idea is just to watch and to wait and to protect those around me. Outside of that, that's going to be the end of my show, guys. If you already liked it so far, just be sure to actually like the actual show itself. And if you're having to subscribe, of course, subscribe to the channel. And if it's not something you're already inclined to, be able to share this with other people. I will be coming out with other things in the future. It's just a slow process right now because I've got other things I'm prepping on with real life. And you guys take care of yourselves, because what I'm just reporting here is, of course, just a small thing compared to what's going on to the rest of the world. But it doesn't mean that we don't take the small things that we see and not notice the tea leaves that are moving around in your freaking glass. So outside of that, I would say I'll see you in the next one, and stay opinionated. Later, guys.